I think it's the number one question why shooting. It's something that I can't master, so I want to keep doing it. It's such an unpredictable method, and I want to be able to make it predictable, but I'm never going to be able to. As usual, got some good blues going. I genuinely love how it makes the vases look. I think it's such a beautiful surface that it gives to the pottery, which is fun because it comes from such a violent act, but it creates something really quite beautiful. And every time it's different. I can't predict or control how it's going to alter my vase. Also not very good at wedging. This is where you're definitely meant to use a cheese wire, but I just never do because I think it's because I'm lazy. Bang on. I always get really nervous about signing the bottom of my vases. Firstly, because I always sign them before I've made them. It's like the first thing I do, which feels weird to me. I think with a painter, they often sign at the end. Maybe I could sign at the end, but I don't want to flip my vase upside down at the end, so I do it at the start. Because the top half is still a bit wet. The worry is that when it's shot, the top will collapse down because it's a bit wet. The bottom's quite nice and dry. I don't really want all that movement. There's always a risk that the vase is going to collapse. I think that clay is quite unpredictable in that way. As much as I've been doing this for a while now, and I sort of know what consistency it should be, what thickness, and so on, there's always a chance it's gonna collapse on the road or in the shooting, which is quite stressful because I work on these vases usually for quite a while because they can be pretty big. And after, a month or two of working on a vase, for it to just die on the road there or in the shooting is quite a gut-wrenching feeling. This is where I wish I was skinny and I could fit in the middle seat.
You have every chance, little man. Every chance.
Let's go! I didn't think I'd like being part of a shared studio, but I love that aspect as well. Talking with people really helps me develop my process and my art. I cannot make my vases without coffee. That's really sad. I don't want to be one of those people like, don't talk to me before my morning coffee. But I genuinely need it to focus. I have a favourite mug in here. It's this one. And I don't know whose it is, where it came from. It was probably a student. But I always drink my coffee in that mug if I'm here. That mug's definitely part of my process. And if I leave this studio, I'm taking it with me. I don't care whose it is. How can that not make you want to make a vase? And I always drink it with the little smiley face looking at me. So I feel like everything I do is a little bit unconventional. But maybe it isn't. I don't know how others do it. Probably not like this. My favourite part of the whole process is when it all starts to feel like a coherent vase. So not this stage. I think I like it when, you've got half a layer built, half a vase built with quite a few layers. And it feels like a vase. That's when I feel like I can relax a little bit more. This stage, it always feels a little bit precarious. I need strength, otherwise the process won't work. helps the bottom be a bit more stabilised, at least in my head. So I think that a lot of the impact must sort of hit the bottom. My worst nightmare would be a vase to just fall over in the shooting. I never liked throwing. It's the mess, and it's just not the technique that I think my vases want to be made in. I want to make them hand built, really. It's just how I've always done it. I was never really very good at drawing or painting, and when I tried pottery it just clicked. I think it's the ability to keep changing the surface. You know, if I wanted it to go in now, I'll just push it in. If I want it to come out, I'll push it out. Can't do that with a brush as easy, I guess. You can alter it, but once you've made that mark, it can be changed 100 times in clay.
How long will it take to dry?
Far too long. If it fucks up, I'll just make another one.
My little finger. I dropped it on my finger. I'm quite excited. There's a little muntjac running around. I might have a muntjac for dinner. And a little stray pellet goes.
I think that my art is totally born from my fascination with other artists. I don't think my art would exist without my want to create like others have before me. Some of the biggest influences on my art, though, were not ceramicists, so it's taking other mediums and how can I translate it into ceramics. I think that's my influence. I think that's what I want to achieve. I think that what other ceramic artists are doing is amazing, and to be honest, I probably couldn't do what they do. So I think it's taking what I can do and what I love from other mediums and how can I translate it into ceramics. I think that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, all went well. No big complaints. Other than my back curtain, but this one went a lot better than the rest. That was shot number 5. And this one still has to survive bisque firing, my hand glazing, and then the glaze fire.
I think with pottery is something that deters people from buying it because you don't have the space for a vase or worried about it on the sideboard getting knocked, but the slabs are sort of born from the idea originally that I wanted pottery to be more accessible, and in my head that was able to hang on a wall. It takes so long to dry, but it's getting there. Top's good. I need some sun so I can get this drying and get it in the exhibition. Bloody England. There's always a slight risk it's still got a bit of moisture in it, but again, touch wood, all my pieces have always been well dried before they go in. The last vase didn't explode. That was good. I was very happy this morning, actually. I've never had something explode in the kiln, but I was very stressed on that, like, I don't know. It might just be dust when I open it up. And as much as people might think that an explosion's good in my art, In the kiln it's not. We need survivors. But it did, so that's good. So now I've got to hand paint 3 layers of glaze. I think a layer takes me 4 hours, 5 hours. It's gonna be a long day. I've started to experiment with actually glazing my pieces, which I've never done before. So now I am trying to hand glaze a lot of my vases after they've been shot. Whereas before I used to put slip on before shooting it. And let me wander free. Come look at this. On the back when the light comes through it. Shiny, shiny. All them holes. It's like a little disco ball vase.
What you gonna do when the exhibition's gonna be over?
Good, okay. So shut the lid.
And when do you want me to check on it? I'll have a bit of a low. I think I'm actually going to stop doing the shot series for a while. Go back to some hits. I want to shoot some stuff with bow and arrow. I want to do a lot of different things. So there won't be any shot pieces for a while. Buy them now.
You can't say that.
Sorry I left a pause, you can cut that out. This morning we're seeing if my vase survived the faulty firing. Number 5 out of the kiln. I think it came out okay. Get it out and have a good look. It's another black one. I think that this has been a real sort of, I wouldn't say a dark collection, but it's been a very raw collection for this exhibition for Wounded. With the earth coloured clay that I chose and the very natural colouring in just the black and the whites, I think they're a very coherent and uniformed collection. I think it's gonna look, yeah, really lovely in the space, and they're gonna work together. Each one's different, but there's a uniformity between them. And great collection, I think. I'm really proud of them all. I'm very sad that we're coming to the end of Wounded. It's all good.